Leave the everyday stresses behind and come on an action-packed ride with me, Penny Wells, and the Discover Oz crew as we travel to the top of Down Under.
If you wanna go far away, you gotta take the chance or you won't make it. And if you wanna go far away, you gotta take the chance or you won't taste it, yeah. And if you know where you're going and you're going tonight, then come on with me, little girl, and we'll go for a ride. We'll go for a
Join
ride.
me on a white-knuckle ride to the top of Down Under. Hi, I'm Penny Wells and welcome to the top of Down Under. I have some great spots to show you this episode as we head into the Northern Territory border, stopping in at Doomadgee before crossing the mighty Calvert River. So jump on board and let's go for a ride. After soaking up Lawn Hill, we headed north, passing through Lawn Hill Station. Make sure you leave the gates as you find them, as it is a working cattle property. This is an alternative route back to the Savannah Way with several creek crossings.
Carburetor gasoline pushed me down the road. Got to build some pump, but I got nowhere to go.
Didn't expect this, Joe.
No, it's
Ooh, it's cold!
it's a little chillier than I was hoping.
But it's so dry and dusty out there, and then you come across this.
Oh, it looks a bit deeper there. Oh, oh, it's
I think I might be actually letting the tyres down for this. Got a bit of flow to it. Yep, definitely letting the tyres down. Oh no, there's more up there.
bring it on, I say.
Again, walking a creek before you cross it is prudent, as in this case where there was more to this one than could be seen from where we first pulled up.
It would.
Okay, so quite a nice little creek crossing up here. And I'm going to stick it in low, just to be sure. Creek crossings always make your drive very interesting. Lightens up the day. With the tyres lowered to compensate for the soft river sand, I was ready to go. So far, so good. Here it gets a little deeper when a current's coming through. This is the soft section. If Jo keeps a bit of speed up there, she's going to be fine.
Just too easy.
It was more daunting walking it than driving it.
Jodie had really started nailing these creek crossings. and had come to realise firsthand how important the right tyre pressures were. Still travelling north through Lawn Hill Station, you continue alongside some spectacular escarpments. The best vantage point to take in their full beauty is on top of the 115 metre high Mount Oscar. It can be a bit of a scratch to get to the top, but if you make it, there's a monument to the Meyer family, originally from Brazil, who were once known as the Cattle Kings, as they had the largest cattle station in Queensland, some 11,000 square kilometres of grazing country.
That is one steep hill.
In 1984, the Meyer family surrendered 12,200 hectares of Lawn Hill Station to the Queensland Government for a national park. The escarpment off to the west is the eastern boundary of that national park. It's probably best to only take one vehicle up at a time, due to the limited turnaround space. After the break, we continue heading north on this track. The track from Lawn Hill to Doomadgee is only 130 kilometres long, but depending on the road conditions, it may take a full day to complete.
I made the call to everyone to inform them of my need. I would not be coming home, at least not anytime soon.
Well, on our way to Doomadgee. In front of me here is Elizabeth Creek. It looks a bit murky and I'm not sure if there's crocodiles in there, and you should always walk creeks first. But in this case, I was talking to some other travellers earlier and they said they come through fine, so I think I'll be alright.
On and on the waves come in, on and on I see shipwreck dreams washed upon the shore. There's a wind coming in that can fill my sails, baby, I'm leaving home.
A bit deeper.
To break the heart of anyone through the payment of my dues, then I feel I should apologize for the selfish things I do. You see, my head and my heart won't collaborate. They were raised in different ways. One would love it if I settled down, while the other can't be pleased.
So Elizabeth Creek wasn't so bad after all. Here on the banks of the Elizabeth Creek is where we met Anthony, a paramedic from the nearby town of Doomadgee. Anthony offered to show us around Doomadgee. As it was late in the afternoon, we made arrangements to meet up the following day and bush camp for the night.
On and on and on we go, on and on I see shipwreck dreams washed up on the shore. There's a wind coming in that can fill my sails, baby, I'm leaving home. Baby,
From here the road improved and it was a quick run into Doomadgee the next morning.
I'm leaving home.
On the outskirts of Doomadgee, We stopped to fuel up, and this is where Anthony rejoined us with his very shiny new Land Rover.
So how long you been up here, Anthony?
Since January.
And you're an Amber.
Yeah,
Loving your job?
mate, it's great work. Love it. Get to go out, help people, and I mean, for me, I'm also out in beautiful country.
So it wouldn't have taken you long to get back last night?
Nah, about 45 minutes.
Yeah, that's pretty good. So we're here on the Nicholson River with one of the locals, Anthony from the local ambulance service, and he's just given us a bit of information on Doomadgee. So what sort of services are at Doomadgee?
We've got most of the basic services. We've got a hospital and post office, cops and ambos obviously.
Yep.
Arrived up here in January, so a little bit before Cyclone Yazzie came through.
Yeah.
And where we're sitting at the moment probably would have been about 5 or 6 metres underwater at that time.
Yikes.
It was quite spectacular because the plane that we're on here beside the river, it's a bit over 1 kilometre wide, maybe closer to 2.
Yep.
And it was completely underwater.
Wow.
All of it was at least 3 metres under.
Heck.
So that's a lot of water coming down, and because it all comes from the territory, it just kept coming for over a month.
Even though it wasn't raining here. Yeah, no, that would have been cool. Would have shut the town down for a while.
Yeah, supplies kept flowing in at least once a week, normally twice a week. But by road out here, you can get cut off for anything up to about 3 months, is what I've been told.
That's a while.
Fortunately, I haven't experienced it yet.
And you can actually do some fishing here too.
Yeah, no, we're just sort of beside one of the local fishing holes. They quite regularly come down and pull out decent sized barramundi, anything up. The last one I saw was about that sort of size.
Wow, that would be nice. Haven't got one of those yet.
No, unfortunately I haven't yet.
No, it's definitely a nice spot, and yeah, it would be interesting working in the town.
Yeah, no. I have a lot of fun working in the town. The locals are all really friendly and really helpful.
Yeah, that makes a difference, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really interesting coming through Doomadgee. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much, Anthony. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's good to look around Doomadgee.
Yeah, where are you off to now?
Hell's Gates we're heading for.
All
yeah,
right.
yeah, and it's good not to just pass through town. It's good to have a look and see how other people live. And
Yeah, well,
yeah.
Would you know about that waterfall?
No, not if you hadn't shown us that, so that was good. Yeah, no, thank you again, and I really like your rig. It's very nice.
That does the job.
Absolutely. Chasing the sun, we pushed on towards the west. Well, they don't call it the road to Hell's Gates for nothing. Check this out. Cruiser just couldn't quite make it. This is recycling at its best here. There's not much left of this thing. Hell's Gates is your last fuel stop for over 300 kilometres, providing the Calvert River's height is low enough to cross. Otherwise, a 650 kilometre detour is required to get to Borroloola. But after the break, in our trip segment, I'm going to spend a bit of time with Jodie. So Jode, both of our vehicles are fitted with winches, and there's nothing better when you're in a sticky situation, pulling that cable out and getting out of there.
I can't wait to use this thing.
It should be good. Now, as I said, both of them have a 12,000 pound electric winch with a handy remote as well. And 12,000 pounds does sound like a lot, but it's actually about 5.5 tonne in metric. And it's important to know how much your vehicle weighs, because this does affect how the winch operates. So how much does this one weigh?
2.6 from the factory, and with bull bar and accessory, maybe about 3 tonne now.
About 3 tonne, okay, yep, so that does affect how the winch operates. We'll talk about that, and then we'll move on to some safety tips, and finally we'll use the winch.
Awesome.
There's your key for the safety, you know where that goes?
Yep, just in here.
Okay, Jade, pop your hand down there. You'll feel the shifter tab there. Yep. That's located on the gear housing of the winch, and we're actually disengaging the clutch before we pull the cable out.
Okay.
Jode, you'll need these. They're really important, a good pair of gloves. Thank you. Okay, Jode, take that. I'll show you how long this cable is and also the different roll layers in it. So if you just want to keep going that way, I'll tell you when to stop. Okay, stop there. At that point there, Jode, this is what's called your fourth layer, and you have 3.1 tonne pulling capacity. And if you remember earlier, I asked you how heavy this vehicle was, and you said it was around 3 tonne. So you just have to remember at that point there, if you're stuck in mud, that your vehicle's going to be heavier and you've only got about 3.1 pulling capacity. So just keep that in mind. So if you just keep going back to the next layer. Okay, stop there, Jode. So this is your third layer, and at that point there you've got 3.6 tonne pulling capacity, so it's getting greater. So if you keep going back to the next one, that's your second layer, and at that point there you've got 4.1 tonne pulling capacity. If you keep going back to the last one. Okay, stop, Jode. At that point there, that's your greatest pulling capacity. You've got 5.1 tonne there. So in an ideal scenario, you want to have as much cable out as you can, because that's your strongest point that you can winch from with that cable out. Okay, Jode, so our cable won't reach a tree. We need a winch extension strap here and also a rated D-strapper, so I'll give you that. You hang on to this end as well, and it's really important that you use something other than your winch cable to go around a tree. So I use something like this, so we'll just roll this out and go down low on the tree. Okay, so we've got all the twists out of the winch extension there. Just need to put the D-shackle onto the strap. Then we'll attach the cable to the shackle. And the next thing we'll do, we'll head up this way and put a dampener before we put any tension on this strap. We'll put the dampener about halfway up, Jode. And do you know why we actually put the dampener on?
It's to dampen the recoil, isn't it? So it doesn't fling and hit things?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right. In case the cable snaps, it just takes a bit of the impact. But speaking of safety, we'll just have a chat about some safety things before we start winching.
Okay. So what's the black fabric on the end of here for, Pen?
It's actually a signal to let you know that you've got 5 wraps to go on the drum of the winch, so don't go past that point. Also, Jode, you need to make sure that everyone's clear of the winch cable. You don't want any accidents. And another thing is to don't step over the cable and don't let anyone else step over that cable, because that can be dangerous as well. If you want to engage that clutch there, yep, great. And we'll jump in the car, start the engine and get winching. Alrighty. Fantastic, now you're ready to operate the winch. Just want to bring that in. Just do it as you're comfortable. Yep. Okay. All right, so how about we do this a couple of times and then we'll be really confident when we're on the trip.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. Crossing the Northern Territory border, you're only about 90 kilometres from the Calvert River.
Pleased to meet you,
And
Penny.
you've just crossed the Calvert River, have you?
Yes.
How did that go?
It was actually fine. I put her into low range
Yep.
and just let her walk through, and as it was washing up over the bonnet, I was thinking, you fool, you fool. She kept going, even when she got caught in the drift.
Oh, really?
She just kept her tractor wheels turning.
Very nice.
Got out the other side, and I'm feeling very pleased with myself. I had a Ford Falcon. I still got my Ford Falcon, but you can't bring a Falcon places
No,
like this. You
no.
just haven't got any option.
We've heard conflicting reports about the river, like whether to cross it or not. Yeah.
Well,
so-
just as well you ran into me then,
I
isn't
know,
it?
that's
Having
very
just done all the
handy.
brave stuff. Because the fellas driving the graders about 50, 80 k's back said, oh, where do you think you're going? I said, you know, the Cloncurry. And they went, good luck. And I thought, is that like when a Queenslander says good luck to you? And I went, okay, here we go. And I looked at it and I thought, yeah, she'll be all right.
Yeah.
I suspect if I'd walked it, I wouldn't have done it.
Really?
And there was a stage there when she's drifting and there's absolutely nobody to come to your rescue. And you think,
You're very brave.
or stupid.
It should always be your aim to bring your vehicle home in one piece, and we took a great deal of time investigating the safest way to do so. The Calvert River is an extremely rocky crossing with before the road crews get to it each year, with large boulders scattered throughout, just waiting to grab hold of a diff or a sump. It doesn't matter what pace you cross at, you will still find yourself bouncing around in the cab as you ford this untamed river.
I can't breathe in this old house, these doors are always closed. Tell myself I gotta move on out, 'cause these blues are itching my toes. I'm a blue train rider, riding down the blue train line. Well, I'm a blue train rider, yeah, I'm riding this train home. Don't talk to
First one across, guinea pig! Jodie was feeling a combination of nerves and excitement, but after seeing my vehicle cross, she was ready to have a go herself.
Well, I'm a blue train rider, and I'm riding this train home.
Well, Jo just did the Calvert River. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pretty well chuffed with myself, I think.
know, you did very well back there.
Quite a few horror stories we've been hearing since Mount Isa.
Absolutely. There was cars being washed down the river and waterway over the bonnet. And
Even
all
the
sorts of stories.
lady that we just passed at Hell's Gate, she's very adamant that we
Yeah,
shouldn't.
That's right. But no, all good. We had those big rocks marked there, so we sort of just dodged those and
Walked it through, made a line.
Yeah, no, I think we did very well with ourselves. So
Yep.
high five to the girls.
Definitely.
Woo! Well, that about wraps things up, and I really hope it's inspired you to start planning your own adventure. And until our next episode, I'll see you then.
Little car outside, 50 feet to the back corner.
Oh.